I'm Jake, you're watching Gas Guzzlers, and this is the all-new, all-electric Polestar 3. Let's get into it. Let's talk about the exterior of the Polestar 3. I want to start by talking about the sensors. The Polestar 3 has an extensive sensor suite, including a LiDAR sensor, and if you look up front, there's a sensor bar. It's actually labeled and it has camera and radar in it, and it's going to enable the Polestar 3 to see things around it, and then that data is fed to a computer using technology from NVIDIA. Yep, the same NVIDIA that makes graphics cards and has all the hype in AI right now to process that data and create a 360-degree picture around the car to enable advanced safety features. Of course, we have LED headlights with auto high beams, and they are auto leveling as well. Now, you've heard of aerodynamic wings in the back of a car, but how about an aerodynamic wing in the front of the car? Yep, the Polestar 3 has an aerodynamic wing in the front of the car. Kind of a cool feature, but that makes it a little hard to access your frunk. Not at all though, because Polestar moved the switch to open the frunk all the way over here to the side, so it's easy to reach. There we go. We can just open it up, and we will find we have about a cubic foot of space here, so you could put a small gym bag or something in here. At the side of the Polestar 3, I love those gold brakes. The gold brakes are quickly becoming a calling card of Polestars, and I think they look fantastic. Add a little bit of a sporty feel, especially with the real exaggerated proportions of the 3. Take a look at that rear quarter there. I love how much the bodywork comes together to squeeze that window. It has a real physical element to it. I really like that. Power folding, heated mirrors, you know the deal there. What's really special is the suspension. Air suspension is standard, and we have active dampers. So this car can be real sporty and tight when it wants to be, but can also loosen up for that highway cruising, be a little bit more comfortable, and soak up those bumps. If you're liking the video, be sure to like and subscribe to Gas Guzzlers for more weekly automotive content. All right, let's get back into it. That rear profile really drops down into the squat profile at the back. Let's open up the trunk here, where we will find 21 cubic feet of space. If we put down the second row, we will find 49 cubic feet of space. The second row does have a ski pass-through, which I'm really like to see. That means that if you have skis and want to put them through the center of the vehicle, you don't have to give up a full-size seat like you would have to in a 60-40 split vehicle without a ski pass-through. There is one interesting trick in the back of the Polestar, and that is due to the air suspension. We can lower the rear of the vehicle, or we can raise it up from back here. This makes loading things much easier. Let's talk powertrain. This is a dual motor Polestar 3 making 482 horsepower and 620 pound-feet of torque. You can also go for a performance variant that makes 509 horsepower and 671 pound-feet of torque. There's also a single motor variant of the Polestar 3, and that's going to make 295 horsepower and 361 pound-feet of torque. The Polestar 3 uses a 111 kilowatt-hour battery pack that can be charged from 10 to 80% in about 30 minutes. Now, Polestar quotes 372 miles of range on the Polestar 3, but that uses the WLTP test, which I find tends to be too optimistic on range. I tend to go with the EPA range instead, and the EPA quotes about 350 miles on single motor variants and around 315 miles on dual motor variants. Taking a look at the interior of the Polestar 3, I can definitely tell that these seats were designed with sportiness in mind. They have fairly aggressive side bolsters on them. Good use of materials on the interior here. I particularly like the cloth up here. It's always fun to see something different than injection molded plastic on the top of the dashboard. It sets the car apart from other automobiles, which almost all do that. We have our wireless charger here in the center. Our screen is ever so slightly angled towards the driver. Nice touch. And then we have two cup holders in the middle, two USB-C ports down at the bottom. Very functional interior. It's very minimal. It's like the Volvo EX90 I was recently in, where it feels minimalist in here, but it's not minimalist for minimalist's sake or because it's cool. It just kind of feels like that's the natural Scandinavian design language. In the rear of the Polestar 3, we have some pop-up cup holders. In addition, we have USB-C ports back here, and we have our own climate control for the rear. We have our own climate zone back here. We have a glass roof to let in some light, and then we also have plenty of legroom. This is where I would say if I was driving, and here I am now, and as you can see, I have plenty of legroom back here. Take a look at this. Polestar 3. 100% trace Nappa leather, 8.1 kilograms of CO2 emissions per meter squared of material, animal welfare secured. It's interesting to print the environmental impact onto the surface itself. That is a unique touch. If you're familiar with Polestar, you may know that they are part of Volvo, and that automotive group takes safety very seriously. So the Polestar 3 comes with a lot of very interesting safety features. Frankly, a lot of them you've probably already heard of. Things like adaptive cruise control, blind spot monitoring, rear cross traffic alert. You're gonna find that all here. However, it also does something that I have not seen many other vehicles do, and that is using a radar on the interior of the vehicle to check for the movement of infants or pets. And that is so that they don't overheat or they don't get too cold on the interior of the vehicle. That radar is connected to the climate control system, and if it detects a living being inside of the vehicle, it's going to turn on the climate control and keep them alive. Here is your infotainment system here on the Polestar 3, and it is pretty full featured. It has Google built in, so we have our Google Maps right there, easily accessible. Let's check out some of the apps you have. My favorite one has to be YouTube. Look at this great YouTube channel. Who's that handsome fella? All right, let's get back to the actual apps you care about. We do have a range app right here, which will show you how much further you have left in your battery pack. And of course, you can see your history and optimize your range. Another way you can optimize your range is by changing performance characteristics. Now, the performance app isn't ready just yet, but you can go to the vehicle settings, and here you can change how the vehicle drives. You can change if the suspension is raised or not. You can change how that adaptive suspension system feels. You can go between range and performance delivery modes. So this is a place you're probably going to spend a lot of time. Other than that, it just feels like a pretty snappy system, and I'm a fan of it. We do have a digital gauge cluster here. I love that orange font, just clearly showing how much range you have left. This, of course, will also show your speed and what the speed limit is. You can also get that information from up here in your heads-up display. The Polestar 3 is a very interesting vehicle. It definitely feels closer to sports car than SUV compared to a lot of SUVs that claim to be sports cars and are more on the SUV side of that equation. Definitely an interesting vehicle I'm going to be keeping my eyes on, and you should come check it out at the DC Auto Show. Definitely make sure to stop by. Again, it's running from January 31st to February 9th. So, what will one of these run you? Well, a model like this that's well equipped with the Pilot and Performance Pack is going to be running you about in the high $80,000 range. But there are some great lease offers out there, and there are special lease offers depending on the time of year. So be sure to check those out at your local Polestar dealer. Guys, I'm Jake, you're watching Gas Guzzlers, and this is the Polestar 3. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great week.